brother.
And this is Sibling Rivalry.
Protect our people. It's your destiny.
What you're searching for? It's in here.
Hiccup is back with his Dragon Riders, except this time it's not as much How to Train Your Dragon as How to Ignite a Family Reunion, as we have his mother in this one, and his father is back, and they're off to stop this evil villain.
Spoiler alert.
You see that in the trailer. And they're off to stop this evil villain who, of course, wants to take over the world in How to Train Your Dragon 2.
It's kind of how to retrain your dragon.
Yeah,
really, when you get down to it.
So, of course, this is another sequel. You know, we can't talk about a sequel, reboot, remake, anything without talking about what we thought of the first one. I haven't read any of the books. Have you read any of them?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a book until I saw the credits to this one.
I can't forget it was too. But to tell you real quick what we thought of the first one. The first one, by most accounts, I should not like, because stories like this drive me nuts. The don't judge a book by its cover, the prejudice parental figure who just won't listen to reason, and the son who has to keep a secret, and then the liar revealed and stuff.
Morals.
No. I hate morals have been hammered in and we've seen done a million times and don't add that much new. But for some reason, the first one really worked, and I think I really enjoyed it anyway, and I think it's the atmosphere, I think it's the pacing, I think it's the passion of it. It's still the greatest 3D movie I've ever seen. I saw it on IMAX in 3D. It was unbelievable. And I think all that passion and everything really made the characters in the story somehow work. And I surprisingly really enjoyed it. What'd you think of it?
My wife and I saw it on a lark. We were,
Yeah, I had no interest in seeing it.
She was watching her, university play in the NCAA tournament or something. Or no, I think they were trying to get into the tournament and they lost in a Final Four Big Ten game. Whatever it was, they lost. And it was a bad loss. It was like just an embarrassing, they shouldn't have lost. And she was pissed. I mean, legitimately pissed. My wife is a hardcore sports fan when it comes to college sports. She's okay on, like, you know, the professional level.
Bottom line.
Yeah. Anyway, so she's like, we were in Michigan at the time, and she's like, I gotta go. I gotta leave. I have to get out of this house. I cannot take this any longer. Let's see a movie. And I'm like, well, I don't really know what's out. I mean, this was still, I think it was like late spring or something. It's like, I don't know what's out. I don't care. I just want to see any movie. So we just showed up at the cinema, like at 7 or 8-ish, and we were just looking at it. There was like nothing out, and there was How to Train Your Dragon. And I remembered the ads, and I thought, oh, that looks terrible. It just looks like a bad DreamWorks movie. I'm like, not fishtail bad, but just bad. And I'm like, but you know what? I'm like, she's pissed off, and I got nothing better to do, so we'll see that. It's a kid's movie. At least it's not gonna, hopefully, like, offend us too much. So we saw it in 3D. We put on our 3D glasses. It was fun. And yeah, by the end of it, I'm like, what the fuck? That was the best 3D movie I have ever seen in my life. I mean, it was on par with Avatar.
I think it's better than Avatar.
Yeah, and I'm like, and we both kept staring at each other. It's like, who would have thought How to Train Your Dragon would be the best 3D movie we've ever seen? Like, because I thought it would have been one of those things where the 3D's just tossed in at the last second and it would just be okay. But no, it was really good. I loved the story. Really, like, it was the biggest surprise of that year. And the second it came out on Blu-ray, like, we bought it. I'm like, this movie's amazing, so.
DreamWorks has this habit of taking stuff that should suck and making it really good, which I'm really impressed by. They did a hand-drawn story of Moses, and it was really good. It's like, who would have thought?
Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda, both of those.
One and two.
Yeah, wonderful.
Amazing.
So now we have the sequel here. So the Cliff Note version, it is better than the first. And it's better than the first because it takes advantage of what it can do with it. Now they can ride dragons by the end of this. Well, they do. They explore. They go find new worlds. They go find new dragons. They find new characters. And the characters grow up. It's an anime film where the kids are not just kids. They actually grow older. They
actually what Star Trek Into Darkness should have been, now that I'm thinking about it. It's like, they explore new worlds, there's new characters, the characters
No, we're
evolve.
just gonna set everything backwards a little bit so you can sort of learn it all again. It's like, no, they really go above and beyond. They
age the character.
Yeah, they
which
actually
was
get older.
Really, that was really interesting, and they did it believable. Like, I'm like, okay, I actually think this is the same guy, only he's aged now. He's a little more mature. Who does that? You normally just don't see that.
Yeah, well, especially in a kids animated film where you can keep the kids younger, and I think most of these people are doing voices or sort of have these voices naturally, so they don't need to make them older to account for the voice, but they made them older because they're like, this time has passed, they're gonna grow up, so, you know, and they're gonna have new responsibilities and they're gonna have new things to tackle, and that's great, and that's new. And it comes across Mother, played by Kate Blanchett, who is wonderful, and it's
creepy. She's kind of like this new age dragon hippie who's like gone a little too native. She's like all Jane Goodall with the chimps or something, and she's like, yes, I can feel that, and then all of her movements are like very dragon-like. It's bizarre, but it's
great. Yeah, it's an interesting character. It's not just like, oh, I'm the parent. Neither of these parents are just the parent. Even the father, who could have so easily just been the, I'm never gonna listen, and that's it. They somehow made that interesting.
Well, and the relationship with his mother is so great, and it just kept hammering in. I was like, when do we see that in an animated film? How many animated mothers have we ever gotten?
Well, especially a mother and son.
It's almost always a father-son, a father-daughter tale, but yeah, a mother-son tale, like...
Yeah, we're starting to see more mother-daughter and, like, sister-sister,
I gotta go back to, like, maybe, like, something like Bambi. And they were animals, so...
But, yeah, so... the much more flying scenes in this one, and they all look beautiful. We saw this on the Thursday night. They didn't have it in IMAX. They do now, which I might actually go see it again, because I'm just gonna tell you now
I don't feel cheated not seeing it in IMAX.
No, but the IMAX 3D for the first film was like a game changer to me. Like that's what
they didn't have an IMAX.
That's what Avatar, like what everyone said about Avatar. That was my Avatar. That was my, oh my god, this is like making me look at film totally different. And with the flying scenes in this one, now I'm really curious if like it's even better, because there are so many in this. So you got. This really great, really enjoyable film. I mean, really, like, I'm watching, it's like, man, this is, like, one of the best of the year. And then you get to the second half, where the villain comes in, and it's still good. But it's like, okay, now this is the first film again. Like, this is the really boring villain. You kind of know, scene by scene, what's going to happen. The sort of... elements about, like, controlling the dragons aren't... No, but it's... Like I said...
Nitpicker.
No, it is still good.
Mumbler.
It's still good, with the exception of the villain. I think the villain is annoyingly dull. Because you could have made this a really fun, interesting villain, but he's the traditional... Roar! Roar! I mean, he's... all that stuff, and
you could have. The only thing I will say is you could have fleshed out his backstory more, because they were flashbacking like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, well, why don't we flashback to his origin story? They just show him coming in and being like, I can defeat dragons.
Yeah, and actually, even that was a little intimidating. Honestly, it's like, oh, they're building him up. Okay, let's see, and he's just every other villain you've seen.
But here's the thing, though. It didn't really bother me, because we actually got a villain. What was the villain in the visit?
Oh, I agree.
There's some evil dragon that we gotta kill, I guess, because he's commanding the other, like...
Well, I'll say this, too. That is explained much better in this film, too. The whole alpha dragon thing.
And that's fine. I like the fact that now we're getting some explanation for what happened in the first one, but I'm just kind of like, why couldn't you just told us that in the first film?
I agree. No, like I said, even though I love the first film, it does have problems.
Yeah, because for me, the climax was the weakness in the first film, because... And in this film, they fixed that. In this film, he's all about, like, we gotta do diplomacy, and like, I can convince him. I changed you, Dad. I can convince this villain, you know, and, like, his final line about, like, we're a village of peace, peace, peace. And, like, they were hammering that in as well in the first one. But it was a mixed message, because it's just like, no, dragons and humans can get along. We can live in peace. So what do we gotta do? Kill that dragon! I'm like, wait a second.
Well, no, what I liked about this one, too, is that he tries diplomacy, and he's very eager about trying diplomacy. And what I like watching is I'm saying to myself, I don't know if this will work or not. I was not sure where this was going, and I like films like that.
But that's where it is the one thing, because this was one problem Kung Fu Panda 2 didn't have. Kung Fu Panda 2, the villain was a villain and creepy and intimidating for a peacock, even.
Yeah.
And there was some sympathy there. You felt like maybe there's a chance that somehow Poe would be able to convince him. They didn't do that, but I felt like it was more open. And in this one, there wasn't a lot of sympathy with him. We didn't really know his
We don't know
backstory.
anything about, or I mean,
We just know he was attacked by a dragon at one point and lost his arm. And
Yeah,
I'm
and
like,
even-
well, join the club. Everyone else in this world has too,
and he's
so.
just kind of a jerk, and it's like, man, you could have had a very interesting villain with this. And there's a character, I don't think I'm giving anything away with this because they make it very obvious in the first 5 minutes. The first conversation Hiccup has, you know a character is going to get axed off, and I won't say who it is, but when it finally happens, I remember saying to myself, don't go that direction, please, because I really like... I like you going the direction where I don't know where it's going, because this film's actually doing that. Even though I liked the first one, you could tell scene by scene where it was going, and I like that I couldn't tell what direction it was going to take, and then when you get to the second half, it's like, oh, it's the by the numbers now, okay. But it's done well. The action is still great, the flying's still great, I still like the characters.
It's all about the execution. I don't care if a story is predictable if it's executed really, really well. There are movies I've seen with no twist in it. Everything you know that's going to happen happens exactly like you'd predict, but it's really fun to watch.
But with that said, wouldn't this, in my opinion, I think this could have been like one of the great fantasy films. Like this could have been like the Dark Knight of like fantasy films or something if they had a good villain. If the villain was really good and really intriguing. Instead, I feel like we got Batman Begins, where the first half is really inspiring, really new. Oh my god, this is changing everything. Then the second half is very by the numbers.
You're just nitpicking. It's not that. It's not that bad.
No,
it's still the way the storyboarding in this movie and the use of music and the animation,
The lighting as well,
and the lighting and the camera angles. It made the villain, even though there wasn't a whole lot there, he still was intimidating and was quite the presence. Like, I thought the build-up was good. I thought he was interesting. Yeah, he needed to be fleshed out more. But again, we actually got something. We got a big dragon in the first one that just kind of sat around. Like, there was just nothing there. I'll take this guy anyway.
Well, when somebody said in the bum review, I say, for a film series called How to Train Your Dragon, we don't see how he trains that giant alpha dragon, which is, I think, a pretty legit question, where it's like, all the other dragons are at least people-sized, so you can sort of understand. How did he train that thing that's like the size of 5 million Sears Towers or whatever to, obey him? I mean, there's no magic, there's no nothing.
There are some issues, but the other thing is, I don't know how bound by the book they are. I mean, I have no idea.
Well,
if
that's
the
what's
book
going
went
to,
into,
yeah, but
like the
even
thing,
if it is, they can explain it more.
The thing that happens in the middle that you're complaining about, did that happen in the book? I have no idea.
Well, even if it did, again, there's book to movie change. You can change stuff.
But see, it was still. Here's the thing: it was emotionally affecting. If a lesser director or a lesser group or story artist had done this, I would probably just be like right with you, like, yeah, thought coming, ooh, big surprise. Now we get exact. But it upset me. It was a really good scene, and for a kids' film, it was dark, like really dark.
I will say the way they do it, like the quote-unquote execution, no pun intended, and who they use to do it, I think, like you said, especially for a kid's film, it is kind of messed up.
Well, and the whole thing is a metaphor for how we treat animals, and his whole thing about, like, dragons aren't born bad, it's the people, the people are, it's the same way with animals, you train a dog to kill, that's what a dog's gonna do. And the same thing happens in this movie, and when his own dragon just starts turning on him, I'm like, this is legitimately creepy and, like, upsetting.
This is kind of old Yellerish
territory. It was very old Yellerish territory, because you've grown to like these two, and the connection they have, and the dragon is sort of this pet that it's just like, to see your pet turn on you like that, I was like, oh my god, like, I'm an adult and I'm like, this is creeping me out. And I can't imagine, we saw it with very few kids there because it was a late night showing, but I can't wait until like the weekend with all the kids in the audience going,
feed me your tears.
Let me taste them. So yummy. Yeah, because I'm just
fucked up.
I'm just waiting for it, because I know there's going to be kids in the audience just flipping their shit over that.
Well, but these films are always, even the first one does like, they are quote-unquote kids films, but there is this aggression to it. There is something very aggressive, and it is kind of Viking times, and yes, they kind of talk a little modern, and we're following the kids and stuff, but I mean, there's, like, people will lose limbs, you know, and stuff like that,
It's not
you
just
know.
the aggression, though. I think what sells the movie, though, is the energy.
Yeah,
It's not only aggressive, but there's just an energy to every scene. There's very few scenes where I'm like, okay, getting kind of bored. It knows how to just milk the ability to fly and have all of these dragons running around, and the battles, those epic battles. Michael Bay should take notes on how to film a battle, because the last 20 minutes of this movie is spectacular. It's as good as anything in Godzilla.
I was actually gonna say, I actually felt more, are you talking about the kind of middle battle or the very, very last battle? I'm thinking more kind of the middle battle.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That was also kind of
there's two battles.
That was also kind of a problem I had
good.
too. No, that was also kind of a problem I had too. I felt the middle battle more than overshadowed the final one, which is not always a problem, honestly. There's a lot of movies where the bigger battles in the middle. Again, Dark Knight, the bigger battles in the middle. So it doesn't bother me too much. But yeah, there's one or two things that aren't that clear.
Mumbler.
You know, like with the end too, with sort of, again, without giving away too much, sort of all the dragons turning and stuff, I'm sort of like, wait a minute, how, what, I don't care, you know, because like you said, I'm emotionally invested.
Wait, no, that made total sense. He's got the ability to do that. He explained that in the middle of the movie. Probably when you got up and hit the restroom.
Oh, maybe I did miss that.
You with your bladder the size of a thimble. He explained how his whole sword weapon works, and how if you activate it, it releases this sort of gas, and he's able to help. Yeah, go watch it again.
Oh no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about with the Alpha Dragon and Toothless, and how all the dragons, you know, what happens at the end. There, I'm sort of, well, okay,
no, I totally got that. It's Toothless fought that thing like a cornered cat.
No, I got that. Everyone's sort of turned, but it's like, but there's instinct and like pride, and we're gonna follow this, and then there's hypnotism that sort of the dragon is doing too, which like I said, I'm not.
Oh my God! Heaven forbid there's magic in the movie about
but
dragons.
But it's not made super clear. But like I said,
It's totally clear.
No, I agree. It's nitpicking. Like there's little stuff like that.
Until they explain the whole Alpha Dragon concept. Like, this made much more sense in the first movie, where I was completely lost. I'm like, so there's a queen dragon? Is this like aliens? How does this work? Like,
no, I agree. I actually think it does explain it better. Like I said, this is nitpicking stuff, but I'm just saying that there are small things here or there. Even the kid's voice, you know, sometimes get a little grating once in a while.
Okay, now that I totally agree.
Yeah, I mean...
for the most part, I'm okay with it, but if I had one nitpick in this movie, and only one, I think it's... even more so than the first one, a very talky movie in certain points. There are these long speeches where I feel like you could have just had a line of dialogue or two, something more pointed, and instead he goes on this long speech about how we've got to come together and in peace, and it just goes on and on and on, and you don't understand, Dad, and his voice just after a while just... kind of gets in your ear and kind of chews it out.
You know, it's surprising. Those didn't bother me that much, even though I agree with you that a lot of it could have been made shorter, but it didn't bother me that much because I think this world is so comfortable with itself and so wants to live with itself and is so enjoyable that I didn't mind when they would just sit down and just talk and just soak up the environment and stuff.
I don't mind when they just talk or soak up the environment. I mind when literally he practically stands on a soapbox.
Or says the exact same thing he
says the exact same thing,
earlier.
or literally a paragraph that is constructed entirely of sentences where he's repeating himself.
Yeah.
Like, that's the issue. I like the slow moments. I like the time he had spent with his mother investigating the sort of layer of the dragons they find in this and that. I like soaking up the environment. You know what it is? I'm normally a person who's not like, get back to the action, but if you're giving a speech and I start like going into a snore phase of just like, you know, at that point, your speech is too long or it's too wordy or talky.
Well, I was gonna say, at the end, like, you know, I don't think we're giving anything away. The good people win, you know. But when they're sort of when they're sort of talking to the bad guy and he's sort of reiterating the message, I'm thinking, yeah, we got it. We know.
Yeah, no, something dragon, something living together.
Good. Yeah, it's like
anyone can change. Yeah, and it's a fine moral. I have no problem with the moral. I have no problem if it does sound overused or cliche. It's just Stop telling us. We got it.
Yeah.
Like, just do it.
No, honestly, everything in this movie, even though I've kind of talked about the second half, nothing in this movie is anything less than the first. It sort of starts with the first. It's like everything is as good as the first, at least. And
It really only
gets
goes
better.
up.
Yeah, it only goes up. So... Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think, like I said, I definitely enjoyed the first half more than the second, but it's still, like I said, nothing is anything less than its predecessor, and that is what a good sequel should do. It should go above and beyond what the previous one did. It should introduce new things by, but also allowing you to get familiar with what you liked in the first one and take it in new directions. And I greatly enjoyed it. I think the 3D is just as good, and there's much more of the flying scenes. And I probably will go see it again in IMAX, just so I can see it again in IMAX, because, like I said, that was a big game changer for the first one for me.
How sad is it that I want to see this one again versus almost anything coming out the rest of the summer?
You know what? I want to see that Book of Life movie. That's the one.
That's coming out in October.
Oh, summer. Yeah, you're right.
The summer,
the
summer blockbusters.
I can't think of much else in summer.
Yeah, I kind of want to see Guardians of the Galaxy, but I'm thinking about all the things coming out, and I'm like, this damn kids movie is probably one of the best things I've seen all year so far. I don't know if it's going to get much better than this. I mean, I hope it does, because I always want things to be better, but...
Well, kids' movies now, I was talking to Brad, because he's doing a lot more of the, he'd always send off other people to go see the bad kids' films and stuff, so this year he's saying, I'll open up and see the kids' films. He was telling me, he's like, it's actually kind of a secret, because all the good films this year are probably going to be the kids' films.
It's true.
and he's really right, the kids' films now
totally
are putting so much more money and time and effort, and they're acting more adult than a lot of the adult films, and, the PG-13s and the Rs and stuff, and I think a lot of it is because there is just more possibility with the kids' films. You can introduce these ideas like, magic and flying around on dragons, and it doesn't have to make sense how they always can hold on to them without flying off and stuff like that. You can just sort of accept it, and the possibilities, without more of those limitations, I think are made stronger.
Well, this taps into Slate had an editorial a week ago about how, adults who read young adult fiction should be ashamed, and they should hide in the closet, and then they shouldn't, they can read it if they want, but...
I'm sure that was a shit story.
Yeah, they should do it with shame.
Right?
I mean, first off, shut up, nobody likes you. And second, that was exactly it. There was everybody came out against this. I mean...
it wouldn't even be for
it. It was... Nobody. Nazis and communists. Al-Qaeda, maybe. But it... The counter-argument against it, that was one of the things they were saying, is that kids' stories or stories for young adults are allowed to get wildly inventive in ways that adult stories aren't. I'm just going to say it. This film is more adult than most summer blockbusters I see. Really,
I can assure you it's going to be more adult than, Transformers 4, which is going to be PG-13.
You want a kids' film that... Yeah, you want
apparently for adults.
Yeah, if you want a kids' film that's meant for 4-year-olds... Transformers. That is the mindset.
Yeah, except with, with big-breasted, women and, violence and sex and stuff.
They're meant for 13-year-olds who don't want to grow up.
Yeah.
But this film is more adult than any of that.
And anyone can see it.
And I'm not ashamed. I'm letting you know right now.
No, and anyone can see it. It is an interesting time, like I said, where it's just there is... But I think it's such a good thing that... Rather than going to, we need to go to the adult films to get anything good. No, because there used to be no good kids films, no good animated films. I mean, nobody even tried with them. It's here's our garbage just to say we did a kid film, and that was it. But now they're really trying, and they're trying to get them really adult. And
you did have Disney, but they were the only game in town.
But even then, they went through, sort of a lull for a while, until,
But
Pixar
they went through a lull because he died. And then the second lull was
way back when.
No. No, but I mean, every company... Well, Pixar's in a lull right now. Every company goes through lulls. I don't think that...
I want to tell Pixar, this is how you do sequels.
Yeah. Please,
Kung Fu Panda and How to Train Dragon,
God.
this is how you do sequels.
No, the cruelest joke was...
Except for Toy Story, those are good.
The cruelest joke was sitting through that Planes ad, right before this was
I think that's Disney, I don't think that's Pixar.
Yeah, though to be fair, actually, I was like, well, it still looks better than Cars 2.
3, they have a third one coming.
That's right. But, yeah, no, just go see it.
Yeah, I think it's... we're at a time now where we kind of knew this years ago when Disney was at the top of its game with, like, the Snow White and all this stuff, that, age, just because you're making something for a certain age doesn't mean you have to dumb it down, or it can't be good, or it can't be brilliant, or it can't
this
stick
took
with
its
you.
audience really seriously, to the point that, again, I can't wait for some of the kids to start choking us.
Disney knew this. I think they still know it. And other, movies and studios are catching on to it, and they're trying to change and they're trying to adapt to it. And I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. And they're getting artistically more free. Like I said, I think this Book of Life that we saw a trailer for, if you haven't seen a trailer for it, check this out. It looks unbelievable. And they're just the Lego movie, they're just expanding with what they can do and having fun
about
with
Tree
it.
of Life as well, something from a Latin American perspective.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
No, and so much culture in it, and wonderful designs, and like I said, it's not just we'll just throw it in for the Latino crowd or something. No, you can tell they're really trying. There's a lot of effort in it. And I love that. And I know people always complain about how much, movies these days, blah, blah, blah. You didn't grow up with the dark times that we did, okay? You didn't grow up when CG was just discovered, and then that was the attraction, and it was nothing else. And there was no story, no plot, no character. It was just, here's some cool CG.
Well, you got and of course you got the direct-to-DVD Disney sequels.
Yeah, I mean,
I think those have finally died out. It's all Tinkerbell and shit now, but I think the concept of, like, Bambi 7 is...
Yeah, that seems to be gone. But yeah, no, because I'm not even talking about kids, I'm just talking about films in general. I want to say from kind of like a little before Godzilla on, where we got nothing but the Armageddons and the disaster film era, where anytime you saw a disaster film,
Volcano.
Dante's Peak, Deep Impact, it's like, okay, these are all gonna suck. And you just knew it going in, and it's like, that's all you got. You just went to a movie knowing it's gonna suck, but what can you do? You want to see a movie, and we were kind of held hostage for a bit. Now we're really expanding
we got
out.
some more good stuff, but not everything's changed. I mean, every year we get a Michael Bay film.
Oh, no, but...
which is no different than every year getting a Roland Emmerich film.
No, there used to be nothing but those films, though. I mean, and like I said, kids' entertainment, with the exception of Pixar, who could put out a film a year, it was nothing. It was dead.
See, that's what I'm trying to tell you, though. That is the natural lull that happens in every company. Why? Because Disney was hitting a lull, and DreamWorks was just trying to kick itself off the ground.
No, but I'm saying that there was also a lull just in movies in general, because people, for whatever reason, they're just like, I just want to see shit blow up because we've discovered CG and we like it and we want to see more of it. And then finally we got sick of it and we had to go to the story and plot again.
I don't know, by around 2001, 2002, we start getting Lord of the Rings. We've got the X-Men movies.
Spider-Man. No, exactly. That's when
it's a short lull, though. You said Godzilla. That was 1998. So you're talking about a 3-year lull.
I'd say more like close to 5 years.
We also got Mask of Zorro the same year.
No, that's the one. Remember, that was the one that everyone's like, this is the one movie that's actually a good action film that's not just effects and explosions. But there was a good 5 years of like nothing. I mean, just maybe a film a year would be good. It's like the worst stuff was always much bigger than the best stuff.
That just happens, though. No matter what the industry.
What I'm saying is that I know it happens. I'm saying that, for all the people still going, there's nothing good summer blockbusters. It's like, you didn't go through that piece of shit CG rule everything.
They might have, Doug. That was only 15 years ago.
Well, the people that talk about, well, then you don't appreciate what you got right now, because this is a good movie, Lego Movie was a good movie, the Kung Fu Panda movies are good, there's a lot of good animated films, and there's, even some good live action films.
I will give you this. The one difference is, you're right, when that lull hit, it was a double whammy of, there wasn't a lot of really good blockbusters coming out during that time, but also, Disney had died.
Yeah.
Disney had died. You basically...
It's the Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. It started with Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Disney had died. DreamWorks is still just getting off the ground. So, yeah, you're right. There wasn't an alternative.
Yeah, I mean, now there kind of is, because at least they're putting effort into these animated films.
And even Pixar. I mean, they had Toy Story, but Bug's Life is cute. I don't think that's a great follow-up.
Don't even that. It was a movie a year. It's like, you get to look forward to a movie a year. And it's like, no, now there's several good movies I can say came out this year. They're not all great, and they're not all fantastic, but,
I do feel like I've been on a lucky streak, because I didn't hate Godzilla like some people did. I enjoyed X-Men First Class.
The Captain America.
A lot of
comic
was
movies
really
are
good.
pretty
Spider-Man
solid.
2 had issues, but it still was better than Spider-Man 3, I'll give it that at least. And this one was really good. We had the Lego movie. Yeah, it's actually...
I mean, really think
This is
about it.
a
Like I
good
said-
year so far.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, I really enjoy this one. If you like the first one, you're almost destined to like this one too. Like I said, it's still got some issues, but
Just bring earplugs whenever he starts speechifying.
like I said,
Score and 7 years ago.
if like I said, it's not perfect, but the stuff that's good is so good. And if you can see it in 3D and IMAX, definitely see it in 3D and IMAX because it's definitely very, very good and very enjoyable. So
I'm Dog Walker! We need to live in peace. Bye!